Shipping is pretty swell, isn't it? If you're unfamiliar with it, shipping is the pairing of characters from our favorite fictional stories, like the ones taking place in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Fandoms ship for many a reason. They see an undeniable chemistry between two characters, typically ones who otherwise wouldn't be together. Or fans could be shipping characters because of a need of better representation of diverse sexualities up on the big screen, or in a universe in general. Or sometimes fans just ship because they want to see their favorite characters get it on. The MCU fandom has no shortage of ships either. In case you didn't watch our Part 1 and 2, here's what you missed. Roman Rogers, Domestic Avengers, Capsicle, Frost Iron, T'Chulkin, Black Pepper, Winter Widow, the cutest ship ever in the form of Peter Parker and Shuri, Thorky, cause it ain't incest if they aren't blood relatives, awesome facial hair bros turned husbands, Iron Strange, more husbands with Iron husbands, Kulki, Hawkson, Scarlet America, Science Boyfriends, Clintasha, Steggy, Stony, Scarlet Widow, and Stucky. Sweet, sweet Stucky. Yeah, that about sums it up. If you're scratching your head wondering, really? There's more ships out there? Well, you bet your butt there is. Like our other two parts, we'll be primarily touching on ships that aren't canon. So, no Natasha and Bruce. And definitely no Cap and Dollar Store Peggy. Sorry, I mean her niece, Sharon. I mean, come on Cap, you can do so much better. Instead, we'll be discussing ships that have a pretty big fandom, but decently low odds at ever becoming canon, unfortunately. But never say never, friends. And for the record, there is one canon ship that slipped through the cracks on our list. So with that in mind, let's jump into our picks for the top 10 Avengers fanships part 3. Also, make sure you guys stick around to the end of the video. I'll be reading off some more comments. Also guys, heads up, spoilers for Infinity War in this video. Number 10, Loki and Natasha. Loki and Black Widow initially encountered one another during the first Avengers film. They had an amazing scene together where Loki seemingly gets into Natasha's head, only for her to reveal afterwards that it was all a sophisticated ploy to get information out of him about his plan, which she expertly executes, and then walks away, leaving Loki stunned. While ultimately it didn't foil Loki's getaway plans, it made for some interesting insight on Natasha's history in the MCU, and gave fans some interesting chemistry between the villain and the reformed Soviet spy. Natasha played him good, and he tried to get under her skin, and towards the end of their scene together, Loki gets straight up volatile with her. And of course, all of this made for some great shipping fodder. Two masters of manipulation coming together and getting it on? Yeah, I can see how that's pretty darn appealing. Up next, number 9, Natasha and Nick Fury. I think Natasha may be the most shipped character in the Avengers. She's got plenty of headships, plenty of femslash, and a fanon coupling with almost every other likable character, good and bad. And the Romanoff shipping even extends up to Nick Fury, who most see as a father figure to Black Widow. Oh god, I really hope there isn't fanfic out there where she refers to him as daddy. Cringe. This ship has quite a bit of evidence that has accumulated over time, but the most potent parts are because of their relationship depicted in Captain America Winter Soldier. Remember when we all thought Nick Fury bit the dust in Winter Soldier after that epic action sequence where Nick took on a crazy amount of enemies only to die on an operating table later? And remember Natasha's expression when she thought he was dying on that operating table? By that time in the MCU, Black Widow was becoming a more thoughtfully formed dynamic character, and we were starting to get more emotion slipping through the cracks of her stony exterior, something that the hardened spy didn't seem capable of only a few films prior. Up next, number 8, Winter Witch. Moving on to something hotter at this number, or colder, cause you know their ship name and Bucky is the Winter Soldier. Sorry, sometimes the dad in me just comes out and has to make a joke. Anywho, there's really not that much that the fans of Winter Witch ship have to go off of, unfortunately for them. The most that Bucky Barnes and Wanda Maximoff have interacted was in Captain America Civil War, with both of them being on Cap's side. But who knows, maybe they connected on the car ride over to the airport, getting buddy-buddy in the back seat, made out a little. Despite this, shippers have filled up Tumblr and Pinterest with photoshopped images of these two as a couple, often comparing similar moments the two have shared side by side. Bucky locked up in Civil War, Wanda locked up in Civil War, Bucky wearing a baseball cap, Wanda wearing a baseball cap, that kind of stuff. There's even blogs devoted to how hilarious Steve's reactions would be after him, being completely oblivious to the relationship, clued into what was going on. Perhaps these two are appealing to so many because they're both so troubled and traumatized. Who knows, maybe somewhere down the line Vision will be gone for good, and Bucky will slip into a more active role in the Avengers, and the two of them will develop the hots for one another. In our number 7 spot, Fitz Simmons. Leo Fitz and Gemma Simmons. Jumping away from the movies of the MCU over to one of its series, Fitz Simmons is the pairing of Leo Fitz and Gemma Simmons from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. You know, the show that Coulson popped up in and was like, hey, I'm actually still alive. Anywho, these two are Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and the most popular ship on the show, and the only ship on this list that's actually canon. They got married. Fitz is one of the youngest agents on the team. He's a genius engineer, and is practically inseparable from Gemma right from the get-go. She's his best friend and research partner, hence why the two are often referred to as science babies or science twins. Gemma is a genius biochemist, and over the course of 5 seasons of the show, show, the romantic relationship has blossomed. It's had its will they won't they moments, along with other love interests floating around as distractions. But as any fan of the show will tell you, these two are a prime example of what an OTP should be. Up next, number 6, StarSpangled Banner. This is perhaps the most dangerous threesome ever. StarSpangled Banner is a menage a trois between Tony Stark, Steve Rogers, and Bruce Banner. I mean, come on, they're like the 3 best pals that there ever was. Sorry, Thor. You only get Thorky. It's pretty easy to see how this pairing comes together. All 3 bonded during the first 2 Avengers films quite heavily. Tony and Bruce together as colleagues, Steve and Tony as heads who butted often but have a profound amount of adoration for each other, and Steve and Bruce as, well, they're pals, and they work together real good, right? But look at all the fan art. Up next, number 5, Hawkwitch. Clint Barton and Wanda Maximoff. The Clint and Wanda fanship sparked up after her brother Pietro sacrificed himself to save Clint and a young Sokovian boy in Age of Ultron. Clint would go on to name his son after Pietro, the boy's middle name that is. His first name is Nathaniel, after Natasha. Later in Civil War, Clint comes to Wanda's rescue at the Avengers Tower, running into a battle that he'd obviously lose with Vision in order to do so. Of course, under the commands of Captain America. Ever since, fans of this unusual pairing have started popping up, and it's easy to see how these two would have some solid chemistry, even if Clint is significantly older than the young and extremely powerful Sokovian. But to some, that's just sexier. Up next, number 4, Freebird. Steve Rogers and Sam Wilson. Of course this is a ship. Also known as Captain Falcon, Steve and Sam have quite the bromance, which originated after they met in Captain America Winter Soldier. Cap turned to Sam in a time of need. After S.H.I.E.L.D. was officially compromised and fell, he and Natasha didn't really have anywhere to turn, except for Sam. Sam offered up everything he could to help them and their cause, and became Falcon, willing to even sacrifice his life under Cap's command. And at times, Sam even seems jealous of Steve's relationship with Bucky, classic jealous boyfriend type, which is made for some great moments between him and the Winter Soldier. They're a ship there too. In at number 3, S.H.I.E.L.D. wives, Natasha Romanoff and Maria Hill. For all of y'all asking about the thumbnail from our last video that had some pretty hot and heavy fan art between Natasha and Maria in it, well, here we go, pals. S.H.I.E.L.D. wives is the coupling of Romanoff and Hill, the 2 most badass ladies of S.H.I.E.L.D. Still left alive, because you know, Peggy was a total boss. And she belongs with Steve. Come on. Sorry, all this shipping is getting to me. Anywho, these two are both seriously tough cookies. Brilliant on the battlefield, brilliant strategists, and brilliant agents. So naturally a fem-slash formed amongst fans, especially those craving to see more Maria Hill in the films. It's clear that Natasha and even Clint Barton all have quite the history with the head honcho agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., like Maria, Coulson, and Fury. So to believe that these two may have spent quite a bit of time bonding together in the past isn't totally out of the question. And the rest of the story? Well, that's all up to the fanfiction. And at number 2, Iron Widow, Tony Stark and Natasha Romanoff. Upon Black Widow's entry into the MCU during her first appearance in Iron Man 2, fans speculated that perhaps Tony's undeniable attraction to the spy moonlighting as Pepper's assistant would pan out to be something more. I mean, hey, who can blame them after watching this?
I promise you this is the only time I will ask you to sign over your company.
I need you to initial each box.
The flirtation may have been short-lived, but potent enough for some shippers to latch onto, with Natasha being a much fiery, more interesting alternative to Pepper when it comes to Stark's romantic interests. And you gotta admit, it'd be a pretty hot pairing, wouldn't it? Since the second Iron Man film, the two haven't really shown to have that much potent chemistry together, minus that great bit of banter between them in the Avengers Civil War film, you know, where they're all talking about the Accords and then she says that thing and he's all like. And finally, in at number 1, Iron Dad, Tony Stark and Peter Parker. Ships can be more than just romantic. Iron Dad is the perfect example of that. It's one of the sweetest and newest family ships to emerge from the MCU, and it's by far the most likely of this list to actually happen and become canon. Iron Dad is the pairing of Tony Stark and Peter Parker as a father-son family ship, which makes absolute perfect sense, doesn't it? The two have a long history together in the MCU, longer than most initially suspected actually, with Peter Parker joining the MCU in 2016 when Tom Holland debuted as the character in Captain America Civil War. But prior to that hilarious first encounter when Tony pays Parker a visit at his home in Queens, Tom Holland actually confirmed that Spider-Man was in Iron Man 2 as a young boy, pre-Spider-Man powers. Now remember that scene at the Stark Expo when a kid in an Iron Man mask stands up to one of the Hammer drones, lifting his hand up in the air? Well, theories have circulated for a long time on the internet that this kid was actually Peter Parker. The expo took place in Queens, and Peter clearly had a long time interest in technology, and is a big fan of Stark and Iron Man. Holland then confirmed that Marvel Studios had told him that that kid was in fact Peter. Really puts the timeline into perspective, doesn't it? Anyway, the father-spider-son ship between these two continues throughout Spider-Man Homecoming, Homecoming, which makes that moment in Infinity War when Peter clutches onto Tony as he's being dusted all the more painful to endure. Alright, there we have it, friends. Now on to some comments that you guys left on our Avengers Fanships Part 2 video. First up, from gaming expert Fortnite and more, Spidey and Shuri is the best because Shuri can show Peter around Wakanda, and Peter can show her around New York. Shuri will ask for a pair of web shooters. T'Challa and Tony will try to break them up because they spend so much time together, but the other Avengers think that they are cute. So when Tony breaks them up, Peter quits being an Avenger and Spider-Man, because Shuri gives him hope when he is Spider-Man. This is exactly why this pairing works so well together. So much story potential. From Righteous Raichu, inhales.
Yeah.
You're not wrong there, friend. Next up, we've got some very accurate words of wisdom from A. Johnson, who says, "It's astounding how people who hate fandoms click these videos just to complain. It's fiction, not real life. Chill." Yeah. Dean Wayfield says, "I am a huge Thorkey shipper and I'm not sorry, guys. Never apologize, Dean. Thorkey is fantastic and all of y'all haters need to chill out. It's not incest." From Mauricio Figueroa, and my apologies if I'm saying your name wrong, "Why on earth should every couple be gay now? It became so annoying." Well, this is because there's not that much representation in the MCU outside of the heterosexual canon ships. So naturally fans of the MCU, who are a very large and diverse bunch, would be inclined to create these fanships. It's the case with a lot of popular franchises out there. Just because you're into a certain kind of ship doesn't mean everyone else is, you know? Love and acceptance to all. Come on, people. Next up, we've got a comment from Vivid Lead Edits, who said, "Do a part 3 and please include Winter Witch. It could work so well. First off, they could relate with each other, sharing stories about the testing and experiments done on them in Hydra. And even though Wanda had volunteered, it was said that the experiments were painful and it had to be emotionally damaging because Wanda and Pietro were the only ones to survive the experiments. So that means they had to witness others dying before them. Also, Wanda can use her mind manipulation to help Bucky since his brain was scattered. They both lost a lot of people in their life, and all in all, the fact that the majority of the world think that they are bad people / villains, they can share and relate with each other, as well with the public accusing them as terrorists." Maybe I should have just added that to my number 8 point. Really well thought out. And last but not least, we've got this beast of a comment from ST Kevin Mohapi. I apologize if I'm saying your name wrong. I'm not good with the name pronunciation stuff. They listed off their favorite ship picks along with some solid reactions of ships from part 2. Let's read off some of them. Romanogers. Hell no. Domestic Avengers. Don't really get it, but okay. Yeah, like me too, but I would totally be down just to watch a bunch of scenes of them chilling and doing normal people stuff, you know? Winter Widow. 1. I prefer Bucky Nat. 2. Oh my god, yas. Fanfiction writers, that is a call to action right there. And what about those other picks of ships from Kevin? Well, they say Thor and Sif. Yeah, I def agree. Pietro and Darcy Lewis, they need to come back. Why is this not more popular? Darcy is the greatest thing ever. And last but not least, Thanos and Hela. Hey, I'd ship anything with Cate Blanchett in it. I mean, to be honest, she probably would have made a really good Lady Death, and that and Thanos, would've been good. Alright, that's it for this video. It was quite the beast. Out of all these ships, what are your favorites? What other ships have we not talked about in the past that you think should have been on our list? Give us a shout with all of your thoughts and feels in those comments below. And as always, if you dug this video, please spread the love and hit those subscribe buttons. And don't forget to take a look at the playlist currently on your screen right now for more MCU videos and lists. And if you haven't already, be sure to check out part 1 and part 2 of our Avengers fanships list for more sweet shippy goodness. In the meantime, thanks for watching everybody. I'll catch you on the next video.